Yep. Hey everybody, it's John with Upstate Brush Control. Me, Josh, and Willie, and Micah we just finished up the day clearing some lots and gonna change out the teeth on the Fecon. They're getting pretty. We could probably go a little bit more on them, but it's time to change them. We're getting into some bigger wood, and then we got a couple ponds and whatnot. But I'm gonna flip these teeth over, and we're gonna do the question and answer with my lovely wife Jody. As hey, everybody say hey to Jody.
Hey.
She does all my editing and all that good stuff. So she helps me out a lot with the business and life, everything, all that stuff. So she's gonna read off some questions from We'll do Instagram first,
Okay.
and then we'll do the YouTube. So
We did Facebook too.
we did Facebook too, apparently.
We did it all.
Something like that. But gonna get set up here, and we are gonna go to town. I'm gonna start taking teeth off, and oh yeah. So gonna grab a few tools here. Jody's just gonna be rattling them off, and I'll answer as I can.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Your whole
What is this first?
Instagram.
This is Instagram first. Sorry.
That's what you wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Your pole saw / trimmer. Do you modify the trimmer or just add the chainsaw head?
Let me show you real quick. I was told not to get distracted, but we use the Stihl FS130R, and it comes with a regular weed eater head when we buy it. This is you just pull the head off, slide the chainsaw one on. You can slide hedge trimmer, the blade. That's what we do. Pretty simple. You can buy a pole saw, but I'll show you a head real quick. I'm already getting distracted. Here's your head right here. It's just got these two little bolts, star head bolts. Slider on there, you're ready to go. Question number 1 is done.
All right, ready for number 2?
I haven't got a tooth off yet.
Huh?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. This is from Elite Earthworks.
Oh, hey, buddy.
He says, is Elite Earthworks the most handsome skid steer operator you've ever seen?
Woo! Let me tell you. I don't know, next to old Josh and Willie, it might be a tie, but yeah, man, he's a handsome fellow. What am I supposed to say?
He wants to know how many hours do the teeth last on the cutter head?
We get about 100 to 120 hours on a complete set, depending on what we're grinding. Sometimes we can get a little bit more, but if we get into a job where a bunch of rock or something like that at the end, kind of what we're doing here, we just change them out. More efficient to run sharper knives. And it costs around like right around $1,000 for 30 teeth. So we spend a lot of money in teeth, but we get so much more done because it's more efficient. I mean, we could get so much more done with knives as opposed to carbide. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
Would you ever get a cutter head for the John Deere?
For a John Deere?
For the John Deere.
Oh, 130.
Yes.
So they're asking if I get a cutter head for the 130. That is something we were talking to Fecon about. So, maybe. That's a possibility.
We've had a lot of these, but basically, can you explain how you determine your estimates for customers size of job, hourly? Basically, how do you price your jobs?
All right, so if you want to know how much I charge by the hour or job, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to tell you. Every job is completely different. I can't have one price per hour, whatever it is. I just don't do that. That's not the way I work. That's the way some people do it, but got it. But every job is different, material is different. Some jobs are harder, easier on the equipment, so you gotta, your price, for me, my price has to change constantly. I can go 2 miles down the road and the job be, say it's the same size area, but it's completely different material. The price will change $1,000, $2,000, just depending on the material and the terrain. So, is that?
Yeah.
So there's no like magic number I have that's like, you know, $100 an hour or whatever. I just don't do it.
Husqvarna versus Stihl chainsaws. Which one are you choosing and why?
Woo. So, grew up kind of running, say grew up, you know, whenever I could start running.
Still growing up.
Still growing up, yeah. Whenever I could start running a chainsaw, I bought a Stihl. That's just what kind of the local guys had. Local landscaper store in town, that's what they had. That's what I used, was happy with it. Then I started watching old Logger Wade, and I was like, man, that Husky will rip. So, my first saw was a 395. We had a big pine job we were cutting up, taking off a bunch of timber, and bought that 395 XP. Love it. Sold my Stihl, a 461 I had. I sold it because we didn't use it anymore. And then we got 3 other Huskies. So we love Huskies. Just good saw. They rip.
You ready?
Sure.
This one's from Abe, our buddy Abe.
Who?
Abe.
Abraham?
Yes.
What's up, Abe?
He says, where do you see the company in 10 years?
Woo, 10 years. Man, I don't know what I'm doing next week. No, I'm just kidding. 10 years. So, where do I see the company in 10 years? Not much bigger, maybe hopefully one more machine. And just kind of plugging away. I don't want to get real big as far as like a lot of employees, a lot of headache. You know, one more machine kind of thing, just keep plugging away, doing what we're doing.
Okay. Go ahead. There's a couple of these. What made you choose feed count over other brands?
So the guy who hold on. So a buddy of mine down in Columbia, he was the only person I knew of who had a Fortune mulcher, and I was able to get a hold of him. Okay, here's the difference in the tooth real quick. So this is obviously pretty much shot, and then there's the new edge. Yeah, she's gonna cut good. I was actually looking at a Lofness G3 when I first got started. I had a Lofness battle axe or some kind of axe or something when I first started to get me going, and it's more of a, I'd say, for like a farmer or homeowner, not for everyday use kind of thing, not for large commercial use. I would use my air compressor, but it's very small, and
It's loud.
it's loud. Yeah, that's why I'm blowing this out. Sorry. You know, I'd heard of Dennis Seymour. I'd heard of other brands, and I asked him. I mean, he'd been doing it a long time, what cutter head would you recommend? He's like, Beacon, hands down. I'm like, all right, that's what I'm gonna get. So we've got close to, let's see here, this machine, almost 6,000 hours on beak cutter heads, somewhere in there. So push somewhere in there, yeah. Yep.
Any advice for young businesses?
Any advice?
Yep.
Don't get in over your head. Take it slow. Don't bite off more than you can chew. It's a very expensive business to be in. If you're doing this or landscaping or whatever, you know, you just gotta have some savings. Gotta have a backup plan. Take it slow. You know, this is $130,000, $132, something like that, $1,000 right here. And you know, you miss a couple of those payments. I mean, we've never missed a payment or anything like that, but I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of mulching. You gotta cover fuel. You gotta cover truck, trailer, all that stuff. You gotta cover, and you know, start out small, work your way up. That's what we did. It took time. We're not there yet by any means, but we're getting there.
I would also say know your cost of doing business.
Yes. Yep.
And make sure that you're legit with insurance.
Yeah, gotta know your cost.
Yeah.
I mean, your cost is gonna be different than my cost for sure. I don't know what you need to pay your rent, pay your truck payment and skid steer payment, head payment, whatever you got, you know. Just gotta know. You know what I mean. Okay.
You gotta know.
Huh.
I said you just gotta know.
Just gotta know. Yeah.
So that was all of Instagram.
Okay. The gram is done.
You can do YouTube.
You wanna do Facebook?
I think, yeah. Let me go back to Facebook.
Gotta see that spark.
So Facebook.
Huh.
I said Facebook. What made you get into this type of work?
I grew up in construction. My dad was a builder. I've learned a lot from him over the years. You know, when I was pretty little, like, I don't know, 8 and 10 and stuff like that, you know, I'd go with him on job sites, and always loved working with him and doing outdoors work. I knew I'd never be in an office. I didn't go to college or anything like that, no education. Well, I have at a high school education, but not a degree in anything. What was the question? Wait, okay, yeah. So, you know, I worked for a fencing contractor. We built fences, we built all kinds of fences. And when I was like 15, 16, up to like 24 or something like that. And until 2008, and then the bottom just dropped out in it. And we did great. You know, I thought for the longest time I was gonna build fences for the rest of my life. I thought that's just what I was gonna do. I loved it. It was hard work, but you got paid by the foot. I got paid by the linear foot. So the faster we got stuff done, the more money we made. But when no one was building, we did a lot of farm fences, all that kind of stuff just kind of fell out. So me and my dad partnered up, and we went back into construction. And that was up until about 7 years ago. About 7 years ago is when we started Upstate Brush Control. Kind of a long story, but I knew I didn't want to do construction forever. I loved the experience I got with my dad. You know, we worked together for years, and he's an expert carpenter. He could build anything, you name it, he could build it. Cabinets, house. Me and him built the house, our old house that we were in. He built his house. You know, he built all kinds of houses and stuff. So, you know, I'm glad I have all that knowledge to be able to do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I loved equipment. I've always enjoyed driving equipment. Big excavators was kind of like what I really liked. I thought I was going to actually go to work for a dirt contractor for a while, but that didn't work out. And Jody told me, she's like, write down what you want to do. She's like, write it all down, pros and cons, what you like and what you don't like. And it came up to, I loved being in the woods. I love being outside, being in the woods. I like tree work and machinery. So all that came to, I was actually hunting, which I don't do a lot of deer hunting. Came across a buddy, the guy that I was telling you about, who had the Fecon. We were hunting down his property, and I saw a machine on his truck and trailer. I said, what is that? And they explained what it was. I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. That's what I want to do. It's in the woods, it's equipment, and I wanted something unique, very unique. You know, you don't see this every day. And even when I started, there was only 8 guys maybe in the area that were doing it, if that. And now there's like 38. Everybody's like, I want to get into brush cutting. But so that's kind of how I decided to go into it. Then I got an old YouTube and started messing around, you know, looking more and more and more, and it just kind of went from there. We got a machine. My brother needed a tractor skid steer, so we split a skid steer. Then I bought a cutter head, and it just kind of went from there. I got my first job, and we started out with a rental piece, but worked my way up. So we didn't just run out and buy a $130,000 machine. So that, you think that's good enough?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. Thank you, Jody.
You're welcome.
I mean, it's not all, you know, happy trails all the time, for sure, but anyways.
Back to what we were saying earlier, how do you protect your company from liable claims?
From what?
Liable claims. When cleaning up an unknown area that is overgrown, you're bound to hit things.
Yep.
It's called insurance.
Insurance. I mean, I don't really know what else to say other than insurance.
Yeah, just be careful.
Be careful. It's extremely dangerous. You know, chips fly out of this over 100 miles an hour. We've hit houses, windows.
A truck.
My truck window, I hit that once. That one's on there. Gotta be careful.
Okay, that was all Facebook.
Alright.
So this is YouTube.
YouTube.
Use a variety of equipment. Did Josh only have prior operating experience, or has it all been on the job training?
Both Josh and Willie. I think Willie had maybe driven a tractor and maybe a skid steer every now and then, but both of them, you know, they learned from us, and we all kind of learned together. I mean, I knew how to operate, but we're always learning, you know. It's not like you just jump in one day and you know everything there is to know about a piece of equipment. But Josh, I don't think he'd ever driven an excavator before, but he's an excellent Both him and Will are excellent excavator operators. Hard to say.
How much fuel do you go through in a week on average?
I don't want to know how much fuel we go through. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Hold on, I'll tell you. This is just gas. Well, I don't know. I thought I had a ticket over there. I don't know, 200 gallons maybe? I don't know.
We can find out.
We can find out, yeah. The machine burns an average, if you run it 8 hours a day, you're gonna burn close to, if you're wide open all day long, it'll burn 60 gallons of fuel. Just the machine, not including trucks, get you back and forth to the job and all that kind of stuff.
In the past videos, you guys said in a past video that you used to have a Bobcat skid steer and now you have the ASB. Why did you get away from Bobcat and what do you like better about ASB?
Alright, so in some areas of the country, you can mulch with a Bobcat skid steer, depending on how hot it gets. It's all about keeping this thing cool, keeping your hydraulics cool. The ASV, the reason why we went with, our first machine was a Terex, but our first, we had a Bobcat 770, and you get out 100 degree, 90 plus day. You'll mulch for say an hour, then you'll go find some shade underneath the shade tree, sit there, crack the throttle, and let her cool down. It can't handle the friction of all that fluid going through there. It doesn't have a big enough reservoir to be able to keep the machine cool. Some areas, yes, you can, or it doesn't get as hot and dry and stuff like that. Yeah, you probably can. But here, we get some pretty hot, brutal days, and it's all about keeping your machine cool. So that's why we went with the ASV. It's, from my understanding, it's one of the very few that is actually maybe the only one. I think Lamtrack might have an actual forestry mulching skid steer built from the factory. So everything you see, we put a bumper on and some other things, but there's no aftermarket coolers on it or anything like that. That's how it's built. So it's all about keeping your hydraulic cooler clean. It has fans that blow the trash out, stuff like that. So you want to keep it, you gotta keep it cool.
What makes the jobs that you're on so fun and entertaining?
I don't know. That's a good question. They're not all fun, I promise you that. We try to make them fun. I mean, if you go in with which I'm known to be a little grumpy sometimes, I know it's hard to believe, but Josh and Willie are like, yeah, for sure.
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, but I don't know, trying to keep a positive attitude.
What should you do after you have your land mulched, like 3, 6, or 12 months after?
So the thing with mulching, a lot of graders and people like that don't like it, and even me, as I'm learning more and more about the business, I've talked about this in other videos, there's a place for mulching and there's a place for traditional land clearing. If you're just beautifying some woods, thinning them out, you don't want to damage any large mature trees, you're working around a lot of mature trees, that is fine to forestry mulch. You know, you're gonna have to keep it up with some kind of spray, like a crossbow or, you know, something like that, as far as a good chemical to try to get it killed, because we're not actually killing anything. This is just cutting it off flush with the ground. I tell all my customers that, you know, this is going to have to be maintained. I say, and you know, they're aware of that. It's not like they're in shock whenever it pops back up. I mean, if you were to strip it off with a dozer, same thing, stuff's going to eventually grow back. Most places, most times. But I think, was
that works? Yeah.
Okay.
When are you gonna come out with some new merch?
Working on it. Working on the merch. Man. So we hopefully next couple weeks here we should have something out. Nothing fancy. Just some Upstate Brush Control shirts. So we we're working on it. It's coming. We do have hats for sale though. If anybody wants one of these hats, we got orange, blue, blah blah blah. Jody put a link somewhere.
Yeah, I did.
So
any plans to build your own shop?
I would love to build my own shop, trust me. Land's very expensive around here. Maybe one day, but we're just gonna keep renting for now.
Why Ram trucks for tow vehicles?
My brother has Fords, so I'm not gonna drive that. No, I'm just kidding. It's just personal preference. They all tow about the same, I think. I've had Duramaxes, a couple Duramax, and been very happy with the Ram. The things that have gone wrong with it have all been self-inflicted. So, but been happy with them. It's got both trucks that we have the Eisen transmission, which is comparable to the Allison. So they've held up great, no problems or issues. Transmissions, so personal preference really, and they all get it down the road at the end of the day. Most of the time.
Usually.
Where's my hammer?
Huh?
My hammer. What did I do with my hammer? Oh, here it is.
Just curious, do you do all of your estimates, or do you have someone who can stay out ahead of you running around checking out new jobs?
So I do all my own estimating. I had my brother-in-law, he used to work for me at one point in time. He did that some, but I have found every now and then Josh will run and look at something, or Willie will if they're by their house, or I just can't get to it, like a pond or something pretty simple. But for the most part, I want to meet the customer and build that relationship with them. And from a business owner's point of view, I want to sell the job to them. You know, I want to make it personal and, you know, be a salesman basically, not trying to talk bad about, you know, you know what I mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
It's your company.
I don't think, yeah, I mean, no one's gonna, you know, I don't know. We'll just leave that one at that.
What made you change the torsion bars? Was it just preventative maintenance?
The what?
Torsion bars?
Torsion bars. I'm assuming they asked about torsion bars. I'm assuming they're talking about axles on the ASV, and they warrantied those out. They kicked in like this, and I've even heard of some where it gets so bad it starts rubbing on the track, will rub on the machine. They're working on perfecting their torsion system, but I think part of it is carrying around this head. I think the head weighs so the cutter head weighs 2,850 pounds, and to have that on there all the time, and sometimes you get, you know, you get going and you get this rocky, you know, just bouncing and stuff. I think it kind of running mulchers prematurely wear them out, as opposed to someone who's just running a bucket, you know, half the weight, half the time kind of thing. But we swapped them out, thanks to ASC. So. What?
Go ahead. Do you pay Josh enough? He needs a new pair of jeans.
We all need new jeans. Yeah, we all need new jeans. This one might have a little hole, this area here. Okay. Sorry, we might edit that out, but oh my goodness. Yes, I think I do. What we do is hard on jeans, that's for sure.
Someone wants to know, how is it to have the best job ever?
It's pretty amazing. No, it's a lot of work. I tell people, customers and stuff like that, even people from YouTube call me, ask me about it and stuff like that. I said, we make it look easy. Yeah, I've been doing this coming on 7 years now. And you know, we're 3 times as fast as we used to be on jobs, and if not faster sometimes. We're just more efficient. We make it look easy. It just from sometimes I'll even go back and, you know, look at the videos or whatever. I was like, man, that did look easy, but videos don't do it justice. It's hard work, long hours. 8 o'clock at night right now almost, so long days, meeting jobs, you know, selling jobs, all that kind of stuff. But that's just being a business owner.
How did you all meet?
Who?
You and Josh and Willie.
We all grew up at the same church, Faith Baptist Church in Taylor, South Carolina. And Josh, Willie worked for me first, and he's worked for me coming up on 5 years, something like that, right? About 5 years.
So I was reading, sorry.
Willie's worked for me. Yeah, Willie's worked for me for about 5 years, and then we needed some more help, and I knew Josh, not like we hung out or anything, but Willie and Josh knew each other. So I asked Willie, I was like, hey, see if that Josh boy wants a job. So we hired her.
That was it?
That was it? All of them?
Well, I skipped a couple of that.
Oh. Inappropriate.
I just didn't read every single question because a lot of them overlapped.
Overlapping questions, got it.
Yeah.
So, any other questions, Jody? Question we get a lot.
Why don't you have a wood chipper?
Oh, why don't I have a wood chipper, Kelly? Or why do we not haul stuff off?
Yeah, that's another one.
The reason why we don't is we have this machine that can leave it there to pay for a dump truck, insurance. We have that. My brother has one he lets us use when we do need it, but to pay for dump fees around here is crazy unless you know somebody who's got a pit or hole or something like that. And it's time that you could be, you know, getting rid of the material instead of driving down the road. I'd much rather get rid of it on the site. And we do some where we take it off, but most of my customers that call me, they are fine with leaving it on site, leaving the mulch, leaving the chips. on the property somewhere. You know, there's some little yards that we do or something like that where we have to haul it off. Why don't we have a chipper? So you still have to load, you still have to manually, you know, somehow feed it. We could feed it with an excavator possibly, but you're talking, you know, 60, 80 grand for a chipper to be able to chip some of the stuff that we chip. And you know, you gotta have a truck to pull it, and it's just that much more equipment that I don't want. I have no desire to have a chipper. I think they're super dangerous, by the way. But yeah, I mean, people are like, oh man, you should, you know, you're spending all that time running back and forth on that material, and you know, you could just run it through a chipper and be done with it. Then you have a pile. What do you do with the pile? You gotta spread out the pile. Then you gotta either rake it out or smooth it out. It's all there. Run it over, you smooth it out, it's finished, it's done. You don't have to mess with it.
Works for me.
Works for me. But you gotta cut it too. You gotta hand cut it somehow. Either you're hand cutting it or you cut it with this. Ugh, that's terrible. Labor intensive. But I think that's it.
That's all I can think of.
That's all I think of. Can't think of any other questions.
I feel like we answered most of the big ones.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're gonna finish this up, get cleaned up, get out of here. So kiddos are with the babysitter tonight. So woohoo, yeah. So thanks for watching the video. Appreciate every one of you hitting that thumbs up button, commenting. I know sometimes I don't get to the comments. We're busy. We have 3 kids, run a business. The YouTube is fun for us. It's not like it's not our, we don't want it to be a full-time thing, you know. It's just, it helps us with our business, gets our name out there, helps you people be able to see what we do. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit the buttons. Have a good one, y'all.